We're told that having goals is a good idea, and that is true. Goals give you a purpose, they give you motivation, they often give you a reason to get up in the morning. But one of the critical factors of having goals is a way to track progress. If you're not tracking progress, what's going to happen is you are going to lose motivation, you're going to lose focus, and ultimately things are going to fail. So there needs to be a way to track your goals. This means that when you actually set the goal, you need to be thinking a little bit about, well, how can I measure this? How can I track my progress for however long the goal is designed to be? Now, this is where Evernote or whatever notes app you are using can really play a significant role in your success at achieving your goals. Now, before we get into the mechanics of this, let me just quickly explain the importance of GAPRA. Now, GAPRA is my notes organization system. GAPRA stands for Goals, Areas, Projects, Resources, and Archive. Now, this is actually quite different from PARA. For those of you familiar with Tiago Forte's PARA system, PARA stands for Projects, Areas, Resources, and Archive. Now, in PARA, the areas of focus are the things that are most up to date, things that you need to stay focused on right now, the areas of your life that you really want to be focused on. There could be multiple of things. In GAPRA, it's more of a hierarchical system. Goals are at the top because that's where you need to put your focus. And the areas in GAPRA mean your areas of focus. That's the 8 areas that are important to all of us, but we do kind of define them a little bit differently, and the priority is different. And those 8 areas revolve around your career or business, your finances, your health and fitness, your family and relationships, your self-development, your lifestyle and life experiences, your purpose in life, and spirituality. So those are the 8 areas. And I've done lots of videos on this, and you can find out more by going into the show notes below. I'll put some videos in there so you can get a better understanding of what areas of focus are. So as I mentioned, GAPRA is hierarchical, so your goals are at the top. Now, the reason for that is because in order for you to successfully achieve your goals, there needs to be a way of measuring them, and that needs to be front and center of your daily and weekly life. So in the goals area, this is where we want to be putting our measurements or our tracking system. So let me use my goal of doing a minimum of 10 push-ups or press-ups, as I was always taught they were, every day for 366 days. 2024 is a leap year, so there's 366 days. So when I started the goal, I wrote that up at the top, and that's clear at the top of the note. Now, in this particular case, I am tracking this in a spreadsheet. Now, I use numbers, but what I wanted to do in here is to show you how you can connect Evernote to a Google document, sheet, or slides. So all I need to do here is click on this link, and that's going to take me to the spreadsheet where I am tracking my press-ups. And as you can see, I have just recently gone past 5,000 push-ups or press-ups for the year. This is just becoming a bit of an obsession for me, but in a way, that's what you want your goals to be. They need to be you need to be a little bit obsessive about it, so that when you're tracking them, you're saying, right, I've done today, let's focus on tomorrow. And this is another very key important part of setting goals. The way you track it does not want to be big and huge so that you have a built-in excuse as to not to do it. They want to be easy ways to measure and track. It could even be a simple sheet where you put a cross in it to say, I did whatever it is you want to do. Now, to give you a bit of a different one, let me share with you something that I'm rather embarrassed to share with you, but what the hell, I'm going to share it with you anyway. Over the last 3 years, I've been writing a book. Now, writing a book is actually quite a big project, but in the first year, I was writing the first draft. No problem at all. I set aside an hour and a half to 2 hours a day to do my writing, Monday to Friday, and it worked a dream. It didn't get in the way of anything else that I was doing. But last year, when I came to writing the book, I had a publisher, and the publisher was beginning to help me do the edits. Now, editing is probably the hardest part of writing a book. The first draft is actually quite easy. I know many of you will probably say, "Nah," but truthfully, the first draft is easy. You just got to get words on a page. The most difficult part is cleaning up those words and making the whole thing work. Well, last year, I really was struggling for time. So in the end, I decided to stop exercising, or at least cut back on my exercise. Well, that had a devastating effect on my weight. But what I decided at the beginning of this year, and this is one of the reasons why my press-up challenge has been a key component of my year, is that I've got to get my weight back down to where it should be, which is around about 80 to 83 kilograms. I am currently at 87.3. So I've still got about 5 kilograms to lose. I don't know what that is in pounds. I've lived in Korea for over 20 years. But the key thing here is I need a way to measure this so that I am motivated. So in April, I decided to get serious about this and to really start getting my weight back down. The goal is really to be back down to 80 kilograms by the end of the year. So I'm not going to rush this. And I'm also aware, because I've done this multiple times before, that in the initial couple of months, the first couple of months, weight drops fairly quickly and then it's a real battle. But by then, you're in the zone. You've gone 2 months, you're in the zone, and you're not going to stop until you get there. But the reason why I track this is because I can now see on a weekly basis when I take my weight that things are coming down. And if, for example, last week when my weight went up, I'm thinking, well, why did it go up? Well, the reason it actually went up was simply because my mother was here and we're eating out a lot and I wasn't really paying attention to my diet. So I have a pretty logical reason for that, and this week I've really focused on getting back into eating healthily. And it's worked. I've dropped 2 kilograms or almost 2 kilograms in a week. But that's not going to be sustainable. That's not going to happen for the next 6 months. I know that. I mean, weight doesn't drop like that. Weight tends to drop like this and you will plateau. But this is why having a way of tracking your goals, whether it's daily or weekly, so daily with my push-up challenge and weight loss is weekly, then I have a way of being able to keep myself motivated. And also, if my weight stabilizes or goes up, I can ask that important question. What happened? Why did it not go down? And I can make adjustments to the goal so that next week they will come down. Okay, so those are the easy goals. Weight loss and push-ups. I mean, that's actually an easy one to track. But what about the more difficult goals? Let's say that you want to have a savings plan for the year. Now, for me, I do have a savings plan. Last year, I used quite a bit of savings when we moved house, and I want to replace the money that we spent from my savings and get it back to where it should be by the end of this year. So I have a simple table here in Evernote where it just tells me I'm saving about 500,000 won a month, which is around about $500, probably about $400, $450 a month. That's the goal, and every month on the 15th I am sending money to my savings account. So as you can see, I'm just tracking this. This is just a simple table in Evernote just to keep me focused on how much I'm saving each month. And then as things grow and as I get closer to that let's say $5,000 target for the year, my motivation is going to stay strong. I'm not going to want to not do it. But there is another type of goal which is a little bit more hard to track, but you can still do so. Let's imagine that you want to get promoted at work this year. Now, the goal here is to get promoted. So what we want to do is, well, where am I today and where do I want to be by the end of the year? Now, that probably is going to involve a meeting with your HR department to ask what do I need to do in order to be considered for this promotion at the end of the year. Now, the thing here is your HR will, all being well, help you and explain what you need to do. You may need to try and get experience in this department. You may need to take this particular course. You may need to take an exam. I mean, who knows? But that's going to give you a project. That's the way I would look at this, is it's a project. So first I've got to do this, then I've got to do that, then I've got to do this. That is where you track it. You can then pull out a little sheet, maybe kind of like a little table, and say, right, I've got to do this course, so this is done. I've got to get this experience, so I need to talk to my boss to see if I can work in this department for a couple of months or whatever, and then check it off. It's a nice way of being able to build out that structure so that you know that you are moving towards achieving that goal. Plus, it's going to give you evidence when you have that meeting or that interview for the position that you hope to gain at the end of the year. So using your notes for your tracking your goals is one way to keep you motivated. And as we carry our notes with us everywhere we go, whether it's on our phone, a tablet or computer, you can actually quickly access that whenever you are feeling a little low in motivation. I found it to be I hate this phrase, but I'm going to use it, a game changer, because it really does keep you focused on your goals. Now, before I finish, one word of advice. And for those of you who stuck around to the end, you are going to be the winners out of this. Don't carry too many goals. I always have a professional goal because I run my own business. We have a growth goal each year. However, for my personal goals, I've kept it down to my push-up challenge, my savings, and that's pretty much it. I have 2 that I am tracking, and that's it. So what's happening here is I'm not diluting my focus. I'm not trying to do too much. Always remember that most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can do in a decade. And essentially what that means is you've got plenty of time. Start small and build it up. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you want to learn more about the GAPRA system, then this video up here is the one to watch next.